lesson I wrote down on the research is that there is no end to life. Um, like there, whatever you do, there is no finish line. I guess it depends, obviously, in what you believe, but some people believe that death is the end. Some people believe that death is the beginning of your life. So no matter what you believe, I feel like jiu-jitsu also transforms into that very much, because like in jiu-jitsu there is no finish line. No matter if you do jiu-jitsu for 50, 60 years, there is still a lot to learn. There is still moves to learn, and uh, it's one of these things that you can't complete jiu-jitsu.
Mm.
Like there is no finish line in that, and I feel it's the same with life. Like you can get better at everything that you do. You can become a better writer, you can become a better podcaster, you can become a better mom, dad, son, brother, partner. Um, and I feel like jiu-jitsu really teaches you that. Like just to, again, it goes back to every time I get a stripe or belt, it shifts that mindset that I not only become better at jiu-jitsu, I become a better person overall in general. Um, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's really beautifully put. I think that it's one of those things that I don't think you ever can complete it. For me personally, I think there's more of there's a spiritual feeling with jujitsu, uh, and I think that it's having this like maybe it's this sort of flow type feeling or this sense of understanding, but it's almost like you kind of disconnect from reality in itself and you're totally in your wider brain, whether so it's not totally just conscious thinking, but it's also subconscious thinking. And I think that that translates to this sort of like soul searching mentality where I think it does actually add something to your soul. And like if we're going to get really spiritual about it, let's say okay, after you die and you say okay, well, what did I take from this life that I live? I think that the lessons that you can learn from jiu-jitsu, like the actual meaning or spiritual kind of flow state, learning about yourself, learning about your true understanding of self, I think that that can really translate into something that you can actually take away with you, maybe beyond this physical fucking space. Um, so if you look at like, I know you and I watched the egg theory, right? You're going through this. Who knows? You might get reincarnated into someone else or something, but you kind of have this thing that you're giving back to the divine or something back to your soul, so you can sort of, I don't know, achieve a maybe an echelon of like success, not success, but like more like understanding or awareness. I'm not sure how to like completely put it, but and I might be sounding crazy here, but I think honestly, the feeling that you get, and I can also see how it can translate into maybe surfers as well, because I had that feeling when I've been on a surfboard in the sea waiting for that wave, and you're so in that moment when you are on that wave that you're not really thinking about anything else, but you're totally in connection with yourself. It's the same feeling. It's this kind of euphoric moment. And Martin kind of said it as well. I think when he had that connection on the bus, when he kind of disconnected from the servers itself, like how he talks, I asked him this question where I was like, do you think that's kind of why jiu-jitsu took something, because you're still looking for that moment and jiu-jitsu kind of gives you that? And he's his kind of where he's at in his level is it's so subconscious now that it's it's almost kind of like, I don't know how he put it, but the way he kind of, at least how I interpreted it was, um, he's kind of reached that point where he's kind of almost disconnecting completely when he's in those roles. And I think that that is something that I think can happen when you keep doing something over and over and over again that allows you to be really present and full. It's kind of like a meditation. Like if you think
Yeah, 100%,
kind of like if you think
100%.
about a Buddhist monk that just meditates, you will slowly reach that point where you really can uh, understand things that might not necessarily be present or immediate when you first start.
On the meditation side of things, I do believe that jiu-jitsu is meditation. There were so many,
Totally,
there were
totally
so many
agree.
days in the past where I was going through like shit days, and after like a rough day, I just go jiu-jitsu, and for those 2 hours, I just completely disconnect, as you said, because in the role, you can't really think about anything else when you're getting choked out, or you have to like defend your arm, and you're completely in that moment. And I feel that's why I really loved about jiu-jitsu, that it helps me to disconnect from just life in general. There's sometimes, like, don't get me wrong, like I still get these shitty days, but having something that you can completely immerse yourself into and not think about what happened 2 or 3 hours ago, or even a day ago, is really really important, because that just gives you a different perspective on what's going on in general. And um, and then and after every session, I remember I used to finish it, you change, and then you get out, and it's like, all my worries are gone. Daniel Myers put that really well. One of my friends, he does MMA now. Yeah, he said,
I love
when I
Daniel
go to the
Myers.
gym, all my worries are gone, and that's really really true. Obviously, that has to do something with endorphins and that, but like, it's just, that you just get that more positive outlook on life in general.
I was having a really shit day on Friday. Um, like just everything was kind of going wrong. It was kind of a massive fail day for me. Um, and I went to jujitsu, and I was actually late to jujitsu, so I was kind of putting it off as well. I was like, oh man, did it. As soon as I walked out of that gym, I was like, I've just reset my life. And it really is that. It really does feel like a reset.
Is an amazing gym, man.
It's an amazing gym for sure. And I think that the people in that gym and the space that Martin's created is definitely is that. But yeah, there's that moment where you kind of walk out of that gym where you're like, oh, I feel really glad. Charlie said this to me once. Uh, he was like, any day with jujitsu is a good day, and it allowed. Oh mate, so obsessed. But it allowed me to think about one of my other points, which was gratitude for being there and experiencing the unique connection with the body. So every time I'm stepping on the mat, I'm reminded that this is actually a gift to me. Every time that you step on the mat, you're reminded that it's a gift and a chance to be happy and also healthy. And I think having that connection to gratitude and the ability to move and yeah, okay. Okay, cool. I think having that sense of gratitude and the ability to move um, with others also on their path, it really creates a community that is a really nice privilege to be a part of. Like I was lucky because my dad taught martial arts, so I had this kind of understanding for martial arts, and I was always fascinated by martial arts. Charlie more so, I think. Um, Charlie really wanted to be kind of like Bruce Lee. He was obsessed with Bruce Lee films. Um, like Charlie through and through is a full-on martial artist. Um, and I think that with my dad teaching, he always used to say to me and Charlie growing up as kids, he was always like, always be aware of your surroundings. If that's one thing that you can learn about martial arts, it's not that you're learning to hurt someone, it's you're learning to be aware of yourself and the people around you. And um, that's one thing that you should take from martial arts. It's not like, yeah, obviously the self-defense aspect of it, but he kind of really instilled about not having ego and wanting to be disciplined with it. I remember some days that we would do lessons with him, I didn't want to do it, and he was like, no, you're committed to doing this. So I think there was a bit of discipline there for us, but really he was kind of hammering about, you're not trying to win over anybody, you're just trying to have that emotional maturity about yourself.